I'm Karen Hurton. We're here with our next edition of Asking for a Friend, and I am absolutely delighted to have my friend Meredith, Elliott Powell, who has written a really practical book on how do you thrive during times of uncertainty and change. Meredith, welcome to the show.
I'm excited to be here, excited to talk about the subject of uncertainty.
Me too. Me too. It's one of my favorite subjects now. It's a daily conversation with our clients. And you know, when I invited you on the show, you were just a regular person, and now have been inducted into the National Speakers Association Hall of Fame. Very exciting. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, I still am a regular person, but quite excited and honored to be in the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Nice. All right. What I really loved about your book, it's so practical, and you have a process for helping people think about and get through change. So can you tell us a little bit about the process?
Yeah. So, when COVID hit, the biggest thing that I saw was that people were struck with fear. We didn't know what to do. The change came so fast. And I wanted to be able to answer the question, what do you do when uncertainty hits? When you have no idea what the future holds or the next change that is coming, what do you do? I wanted to write the methodology, find the formula, and give the practical steps to take the fear out of uncertainty and put the success back into it.
Nice. And it's grounded in all of these case studies through history. So, that was also really compelling. So where would you start? So somebody says, okay, another change. What do I do for my business, for my team? Where do I start?
Yeah, it's funny, when I started to write the book, COVID was the biggest thing that we were dealing with. And now we're dealing with change on steroids compared to that. And it feels like the change is just getting deeper. And so literally what we put together is a 9-step methodology. And I'll give you the methodology for the show notes. But let's just highlight a couple of strategies that I love. Strategy number 2 is condition yourself for change. Change is the one thing that we know that is coming, and we hate change because we don't feel like we can control it. This strategy gives you the ability to control change by learning to embrace the suck, deal with the reality that is in front of you.
Embrace the suck. One of my friends, who's also a client, he's an ex-Marine. He's always saying that.
It's a military term.
Yeah. All right. Good. Now you have this skeptic model. Mm-hmm. And as I was going through this, I was actually just thinking about it for our business. And I went to David and I said, we need to we're having a company offsite. We need to use the skeptic model about ourselves because I think it makes you really think. So can you walk us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the reason we hate change is because we're waiting for it to happen, right? So what could happen if you started to predict change, if you started to think about the shifts that are coming? So we developed the skeptic tool, and it's simply no more than exactly like you're going to use it in the offsite. I love that. You take, 45 minutes, even 20 minutes out of a regular meeting and just walk yourself through a series of words. What changes do you see happening in society with competition, economics, politics, technology, industry, customers? No parameters, just brainstorm it out. And then simply ask yourself the question, what changes do we see that we need to be paying attention to now? In essence, Karen, it's the difference between why Netflix survived and Blockbuster went under. There's more change happening outside of your business than inside it. And if you can anticipate the change, you can make change while you have the time, the resources, and the energy to make those changes and capitalize on them.
Yeah, that's really good. Can you tell us, do you have a client or someone that you've worked with who did this and predicted something, or that found it really helpful?
Yeah, so I really want people to read in the book about Jim Beam, because that's the company we highlighted dealing with prohibition. And if you think you got to deal with change, imagine what you do for a living could be illegal in any moment. But some of my favorites are, I do it with so many of my clients. We use this tool all the time. Talking about mergers and acquisitions, a lot of time in the financial services industry, we'll see another institution is getting ready to merge or to be acquired. That is a chance to completely shift our sales strategy to focus on their clients, because we all know every merger and acquisition is going to be a disaster. and clients are going to be unhappy. So we'll use it as an opportunity to increase market share.
You always say not everything is uncertain. That when things feel uncertain, it feels like everything is uncertain. But to your point, you got to go step by step and say, what do we actually know? Or what do we know with some level of, or anticipate with some level of certainty? And how can we have some contingencies around both of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be surprised. Another exercise we have in the book is one that probably a lot of people have done. Write down everything you're worried about. Get it out of your system, out of your mind. Circle what you can control, forget about the rest. Success is not logical. Success, that is the biggest thing that I learned from writing to the book. It does not belong to the business with the most money, the most educated, the lucky breaks. It belongs to the leader who can keep the team focused on what you can control. You focus on what you can control, and you are literally going to turn uncertainty into a major competitive advantage.
Yeah. And you spend a good bit of time talking about how you really get in there with your customers and get in touch with what's actually going on for them. And I was reading that and I'm like, thank God, that is the thing that really saved our business when our speaking business went away.
Yeah.
Because we were connecting with our customers and they said, no, we still have needs. Not a keynote speaker, but we have needs. And that relationship helped us figure out our own pivot, as I imagine did for you.
Yeah, it's we call that strategy secure your base. Don't sit in a boardroom and try to figure out where to take your business when uncertainty hits. Talk to your customers. Everybody probably watching this has used a bar of Ivory soap. Ivory soap was born because Procter & Gamble talked to customers and found out what was missing with soap. People said, we want a soap that floats. Procter & Gamble shot air into a bar of soap, and by the end of the 1800s, they were $1 million company. Not because they made a better product, not because they made a cheaper product, but because they made the product that solved the right problem for their customers. The path forward is by listening to your customers.
Nice. Thank you, Meredith. All right. Towards the end of the book, you go deep and share some personal insights, but you also really say, well, how does one apply this to myself? Like, what about me? How do I have the resilience to thrive and change? So just a few tips there would be wonderful.
Yeah, it was funny. I finished the book and I thought, I'm done. And you know this. I mean, when you finish a book, you feel like, oh my gosh, I can relax.
Right.
But all of a sudden it occurred to me that the Great Depression didn't end at 5 o'clock. And you needed to take this book home and you needed to apply and deal with uncertainty in your personal life. So we took all 9 strategies and literally just shifted them a bit so that you can apply to them to all the uncertainty that you're dealing with from a personal level and deal with uncertainty both professionally and personally and thrive through it.
So what is one of the 9 strategies there that you would say is really particularly helpful at a personal level?
Yeah, I think that the most important is in a world that feels way too busy and there's way too much coming at you, be clear on your personal values and make decisions according to your core values. Use them like a litmus test. I mean, you and I are speakers and you can easily get jealous over what another speaker is doing. But when you look at it and you say, what decisions are right for me and right for my family? If you live according to your values, you are going to be successful. I think using values as a litmus test to make every decision is so incredibly critical.
Thank you so much. All right. Any last pieces of advice before we close here?
Just that to shift your mindset to believe that even when the biggest obstacle is in front of you, I promise you, if you follow a methodology, if you can keep your wits about you to focus on what you can control, what may seem like your darkest hour is going to turn into your greatest opportunity.
Nice. Meredith, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today on Asking for a Friend.
Thank you.